Hello, people.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Couch Tomatoes. That's it. That's all I've
People
got
of
for
the
you.
couch.
Staring
Are
into
you kind
Mater's
of
cold dead
excited
eyes.
today?
Yes, I do plan to get us a better logo. And yes, that is definitely Mater's cold dead eyes staring at you.
It's the most cursed logo ever,
I
I
love
think.
it, but yeah, it is bloody cursed. Oh my god.
Hi, everybody.
I like movies. Like, thanks, Mater. You fucking suck. I hate you. Mater's the best character in the movie, but still.
True. True.
That's why I used his eyes specifically. I had options, just so you know. I just used Mater's because he looked the most derpy.
Yep.
And since we're movie dorks, geeks, nerds, the highest order, I thought it's fitting.
Of the highest possible order. Nobody knows it yet.
Are you the hype man who just repeats certain things back to the audience?
Am I a hype man that just repeats certain things back to the audience?
uh, oh, God. No, got it. All right, so let me get the film notebook. Our first movie to talk about is Masterminds.
Yay.
Why don't you tell us what happens in Masterminds while I smoke this weed?
For those who don't know, because there are a couple different movies called
1997.
Masterminds. The more recent one that came out like in the 2010s or something, and then this one, which came out in 1997, and like immediately got buried, like just completely buried. Um, Masterminds is basically, in no uncertain terms, a ripoff of Toy Soldiers. It's the basically the same
Same
concept as Toy
premise.
Soldiers.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of terrorists are taking over a school, and the kids fight back. You know, it's the same premise,
But
basically.
they change it up because it's one kid, Die Hard
It
style, and
is.
just like Die Hard, they're
Yeah,
actually there to rob the fucking mine that this place sits above.
yeah.
So there's like a whole ulterior motive on top of the obfuscated motive that the police think is the only thing going on.
The Die Hard there,
Die Hard with a vengeance, basically.
they even have the moment where he says, "We got a Die Hard situation here," like directly on the nose. Boop.
There's
You
also
know.
a bit of Home Alone here with the booby
Yes.
traps and stuff.
Home Alone / MacGyver. Like no child, nobody. I mean, he's a teenager to be fair in
He's
this role.
particularly gifted when they said, but still.
Very gifted teenager, but like, what teenager is gonna know how to fucking do all this shit? Like, yeah, at one point he creates a bomb. It's like Dennis the Menace is your worst nightmare of Dennis the Menace all growing up. Like,
It's great. Die Hard with a syllabus, Pluto says.
and he's a hacker, and
And
he
he's a hacker.
hacks.
Okay, wait. Hold on a second. House Arrest is the one with the hacker, right? With that hack Scream 2?
No, that's Masterminds.
Is it Masterminds? Okay.
That's Masterminds.
Which one? Why was the person under house arrest and house arrest? Sorry, I'm getting them confused now.
House arrest just when the parents are arrested.
Oh, right. Okay, goddamn. Fuck.
They're kept
I'm
in the
getting
basement.
movies confused.
So anyway,
Yeah, okay.
Masterminds most notably stars Sir Patrick Stewart. It's one of
Sir
those roles that he took. It's one of those roles that he took in the mid '90s where it's like, but why did he take that role? You know,
Because he
but
gets
it's
to do
just,
whatever he wants. That's why.
yeah, he'll do whatever he wants, and he just took basically any role that he could get at the time. I think because there was also this movie called Safe House, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Oh, we'll definitely talk about it again. Yeah.
So many amazing moments with Patrick Stewart in that movie. But there are several great moments with Patrick Stewart in this movie as well. I think probably one of the most gifable moments is actually still not a gif yet. And it's this moment where everything's going wrong for him. The whole world sucks. He fucking hates everything. He's got water raining down on him in the middle of a room, and he says, "You know, I'm not a violent man, but I really do think I'm gonna have to kill somebody here."
Yes, that is literally the best quote in the entire movie. By the way, this movie's never been released outside of VHS, but it's got
Yeah,
it's on streaming on Amazon Prime, which is how we watched it this weekend.
yeah.
It was last weekend, so. Um,
I highly recommend you watching it. All of you watch it on Amazon Prime. It is very enjoyable. Still, I remember going to see this in the theater when it first came out, and you literally had to see it literally the week it came out, or else you wouldn't see it in theaters because they pulled it the very next week. It was gone.
Why did it say why they got pulled?
I have no idea. I think it was just the studios had no faith in it.
Probably had.
Bad
Oh
reviews
right,
and-
which movie was it that made like $78?
I think that was it.
Yeah,
think
this
that
movie made
was
$78 and overseas. That was
in UK.
in the UK.
Yeah.
So that's an indication of how well this movie did, I think.
The UK, where Sir Patrick Stewart at the time was probably very well known.
Well,
But,
Star Trek is what he's probably known for at that point.
Well, yeah, but he would still be.
This would have been right after his role in Star Trek was over with for the most part.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
He was still getting movie roles for Star Trek.
Yeah,
movies.
Generations and on, but yeah. But like it's still, this was like that was when he was done with the show, so he started doing movie roles. I think the thing is back then it was really hard for a TV actor to transition to theatrical roles because they felt they were two different worlds and TV actors weren't good enough, and it was like, yeah, modern TV is the same thing as movies at this point, you know. And anyone who thinks that like Walking Dead isn't just a 16-hour-long movie, you're wrong. It is. I mean, they're made pretty much like movies now.
Like a 100-hour-long movie at this point.
Well, I mean, each season being a movie.
Yeah,
like,
true.
But yeah, my point being, like, the quality's improved, and there's lots of mixing between the two. But not back then. So I think that's why he's in this, what we would consider a B film. And Safe House, I think, was like 96 or 97 also, right?
Yeah.
So
that one was straight to Showtime, too.
That's what he probably had to deal with until he rose out of it. You know, I think his big breakout theatrical was X-Men. It may have been.
Yeah, in terms of movies that
out.
weren't related to Star Trek, I think it was X-Men.
I mean,
that was his first big
sort by earliest first.
What's funny is he was also in a movie called The Detonator.
He's in Life Force also back in the 80s, but
that was a very minimal role.
Yeah, he's also in Doctors and Devils and Wild Geese too. Both, so these are all like B quality films. The Plague Dogs, which is a voice acting role. Then he does Star Trek, and then Death Train, aka Detonator. I
won't say it's like but it's like a 5 out of 10.
We'll probably watch
which is not what you would expect because it's Pierce Brosnan and Sir Patrick Stewart in the same fucking action movie. You'd expect it to be good, and it's just deadly boring. It's so boring. Oh my god. You will be bored to tears by that movie. But
Patrick Stewart was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. For some reason, I can't remember who he fucking played in that.
I want to say he played one of the prisoners.
King Richard. Holy shit.
King Richard, that's right. At the very end.
I think I remember that now. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, Safe House, let's see, Generations came out in 94. So yeah, he's starting to do movies. He did Robin Hood Men in Tights. He's done a few, he did a few nature documentaries where he's the narration.
Those are minor roles in those.
And then it's a bunch of Star Trek stuff.
These are major role films.
Conspiracy Theory.
Safe House.
Conspiracy Theory probably would have been another big movie at the time.
I don't think it was a major role for him though.
Mel Gibson. No, but he was in a major movie.
Yeah,
that helps him get to other stuff, right?
He was definitely a respected actor at that point. It's just that in terms of having the main major,
I would say
role
X-Men
in the movie,
is his big budget breakout because after that he has a resurgence.
Yeah.
After X-Men, he is in a lot of movies, a lot of them, big budget movies, all over the place. Origins, of course, Romeo and Juliet, fucking Ice Age 4.
I wonder how much of that has to
Mysterious
do
Island
with.
miniseries, which is cool.
I wonder how much of that has to do with just the people who were making those films grew up watching him in Star Trek and
That's
all these
probably
other
what it is.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
They
I think
loved
that's
him
it.
like, oh my god, he's going for this
Can we
role.
get him
Ooh.
for Resurrection? We can? Oh, you mean we're helping him out? Oh, like X-Men is like was
Yeah,
like budgeted like big, but not like super big. So like they had a budget, which is how they got so many stars. But other
yeah,
than Halle Berry, most of the stars in that movie were not huge stars at the time. Hugh Jackman was still kind of unknown in the U.S.
yeah, yeah.
You know, after that movie, a lot of those people broke out and became bigger, and they were seen as like theatrical people now, theatrical movies, theatrical quality actors now. And so like that's the kind of thing, like a smaller budget or mid budget to large budget superhero film from the 90s can lead to doing 10 blockbusters. Like
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart probably can just retire. He's probably got money. Oh
I
yeah, he's in Dune
He
also,
loves it
the bit
though.
part in Dune.
He loves acting. You can tell. Like I've
Hmm.
seen some interviews with him, and just in the recent past, and it's like he still does plays and stuff like that. He still,
Yeah, I'm
you know,
sure.
he still acts in many different ways. I think he actually said he at one point was like teaching a class at a college at some point.
I'm sure you're doing
But
whatever roles and jobs with acting that make him feel full fulfilled because he has all the money in the world
yeah,
probably.
it's all for him about what he wants. Cool because he's such a great actor.
There's a world where he played Gandalf. All right, just think about that for a second.
Hey, he played right alongside Gandalf in X Men. Okay,
I mean,
okay.
he could
We
play
asked
he
for
could have
much
played
more,
Gandalf, and I would have accepted it. By the way, back then. I mean,
but no, Masterminds. We got off topic about that, but I
Patrick
think
will
it's a
do that.
really good movie. I don't think it's like great
It
or
was fun.
anything, but
It's
it's
Nanar.
yeah.
It's weird punk officially because there's a
Oh, you
chase with
think
these
so?
go karts that have rockets on them. That he's seeking rockets
Yeah.
apparently.
On those when he finds the go karts, he goes off on this random tangent out of nowhere about a fucking soccer team.
Yeah.
He's like really happy that he's getting away with it or whatever, and he rips off his fucking shirt, like his normal uh, button down shirt, and he's got a soccer jersey on underneath. For some reason, he's a huge fucking soccer fan.
It's Manchester
United,
United specifically,
United, yeah.
but he wanted a different soccer team, which is lesser known. That they both agreed to go with the more
Probably
known one, but that was his input to put the soccer loving stuff in.
right. It's just like I love when they do that in movies when it's just like, you know what? That's a good idea. They just take ideas
Collaboration,
from the
you know.
yeah, when they actually are collaborative rather than trying to enforce their views and whatnot on everybody else. Like, for instance, with Josh Trank and Fantastic Four or Fanforstic, where apparently a lot of the movie, and I mean a lot of the movie, was just completely under the control of the fucking studio, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't fucking allow for anything.
I want the Trank cut, damn it.
Yeah,
You own
release the
Fox now.
Trank cut.
Yeah,
Release the Trank cut.
Release was a Disney Plus.
We all deserve to know if it's actually as good as he says or if he's full of shit.
Right?
Come on, we all want to know.
I tend to think that
We're all morbidly
I
curious.
think
Come
the
on.
studio and him had a contentious relationship, and they probably don't like him right now. But I can imagine someday there will be a Trent cut. I mean, unlike the old days, they keep all the footage. They keep everything now. They keep every fucking scrap. They used to just keep certain things, like where they would take all the they'd take a few select deleted scenes and junk the rest, or use the rest for the documentary and have it only in the documentary. Now that's the only place we can find some scenes in some movies is in the special features.
He hasn't been blacklisted per se, but not officially, I don't think. But he definitely hasn't been getting hired for much, And that's sad because it's like he's absolutely getting blamed for this, and it might not have been his fault,
I mean, his version may not have been good either, but I think it deserves to be seen
Yeah,
and assessed. That's all.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
exactly.
All right, let's hear Josh Trank. Let's hear popularity or no, new. Where's the newest first? He's got a movie from 2020 called Capone.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's the Tom Hardy plays Al Capone. Yeah, and Linda
Yeah,
Cardinelli plays May Capone. Oh my god. Oh dude, Kyle MacLachlan is in this.
you
Tilda.
know,
Wait, hold on. Tilda Del Toro. I gotta look this person up. Are
you're
you?
like, is it?
He has kids from
Are
a
they
previous marriage.
related?
He has kids from a previous marriage, but
You're like, wait a minute, is this person related to Guillermo del
right.
Toro?
And let's see here.
Huh?
Uh,
That's typically how it works. It's both fun to find that kind of thing out, and also just like, yay, the Hollywood system is still just who you know.
I don't have a problem with
Wonderful.
nepotism if that person's right for the role. I mean, if you're casting a role, so if that
Yeah,
person's like, I can help you out, and they're good for the role, then whatever, okay? But it's
yeah,
really when it's glaringly obvious that that person's wrong for the role, and nepotism got that wrong. That's the wrong kind of nepotism, and that's why you have to be careful with it.
yeah.
I don't think she's
People,
related.
people bitch and whine
She's
and moan about
she's
Nicolas Cage for that
Peruvian,
reason,
Spanish, and Puerto Rican descent. Yeah.
and I don't think that's a fair criticism to say that Nicolas Cage only got roles because of who he was related to. Yes, he definitely tried to use his relationship to Francis Ford Coppola in order to
And
fucking
that's why he changed
get
his stage name
roles.
to Nick Cage, right?
But also to say that he wasn't fit for the roles he was doing is not necessarily fair. He did some really good shit early on in his career.
Some of those roles I
Stop,
could see. I can argue. I can
stop
see the
talking
argument.
shit about him.
I can see some of those roles as an argument that he may not have been best
Yeah.
fit.
Well, that's the
Outsiders.
funny thing
Was it
about
Outsiders? No, it's Rumblefish. I think his character. I don't think he fits the character.
that's the funny thing about his career is that like he has done a lot of that kind of stuff. Like some of the roles he does, it's like he's the perfect fucking fit. He's great. This is proof that he's an excellent actor. And then other ones, it's like, why did you give him this role? He's so terrible for this particular role,
Right.
you know? So yeah. But to get back to Masterminds, like I said, I really like this movie. And I don't know, I've been on a kick with these mid 90s movies that have been all but forgotten that I remember fondly from my childhood. Like Skin Slip said, it's not available any other way than on VHS or, I mean, there's obviously like at least a DVD master because you can watch it on Amazon right now. And
It's
it's
720.
pretty
Okay.
damn,
I
it's
found
pretty
now.
damn good.
I didn't download it because I don't have a need to, right? But I did find the rip. It says it's 720p Amazon web rip, so it's 720p. But that's generally what you use. Put your 720p or was what you'd use for a lower quality DVD. If you were going to only do a single layer disc, you can get away with a 720p master. So it's definitely the master from a company that was trying to pinch pennies.
They at least like had plans to release a DVD potentially, but they just never did. They probably didn't see the percentage in it or whatever. But
Yeah, I mean, they probably. I'm guessing there was probably a series of movies they put out, and then they just didn't make enough on those to release the next, however many of the movies they prepared. And then that company got bought up by Paramount, I think is who has it, or Lionsgate, one of the two. And they haven't done anything other than put that master up on streaming, which you can watch. And once again, on Amazon Prime. We are not sponsored in any way by them. I want to be clear. Nobody sponsors us. Movie, we're not cool enough.
Well, technically, being on Twitch, we're sponsored by Amazon, but
yes, but not directly.
That sponsors everything,
but not directly. They didn't contact us to promote the thing. That's my point.
I think this would be a good movie for Mill Creek to pick up, or
1,000%.
Kino Lorber.
1,000%, because then we'll get a commentary, and maybe such a feature package which probably exists.
Kino Lorber has actually been picking up a lot of stuff that used to be on Mill Creek, though. So, like, you know,
yeah,
I'm
Baby,
saying,
Secret of the Lost.
Get ahead of the game here. You could probably get this pretty cheap, Kino. You could probably get this pretty cheap. And I guarantee you there are people who will want to see it and will buy it simply because Patrick Stewart is in it. A lot of Patrick Stewart fans out there. I'm one of them,
You know,
but
I
the movie
should get in the
itself,
habit of reading the description, the brief description here, that so that like that way people know that. So that way we don't have to struggle so hard to explain the plot without
I don't
spoilers.
think we struggled to explain it,
So
but yeah, go
well,
ahead.
I just think it'd be better that way. I just think it'd be
Yeah.
more interesting. Like actually, let's hear. Let me see if I can find the back of the VHS.
Also, read some reviews, maybe like some of the
Yeah,
more
yeah,
shitty reviews.
Masterminds, 1997 VHS. Oh, here's the back of the VHS. Is this big enough to read? I don't think it is. No, that's way too small. Oh, oh. Is this big enough? Oh, that's way tiny. Is this bigger? No.
It's too tiny. It's very,
But
very small.
so she said, you know what? I can also just make the size, tools,
That is
size,
what you said.
large. I like large tools only, please.
But yes, if you ever find this out in the wild on VHS, then might as well pick it up. It's the only way to get it, at least for now.
Oh, this looks like it might be open image. Oh, fuck you.
It's a very strange looking VHS cover. It's very 90s, I would say. You got the neon. I think it's neon orange and neon green for the titles, Masterminds. There are also other elements of this movie that didn't make any damn sense. Like, it makes sense to me that he knew about this hidden location within the school where he initially. I don't want to give too much away, but like he knew
Okay.
about this hidden location within the school. It makes sense to me because he was ditching class and they didn't know where he was going. That's where he went. They explained that at some point.
Why is
But,
it
but
interesting? So this box, half the description is one direction, and the next. Okay, I have to download this. I have to go to flip the image. 1 second,
oh god.
because it's half it's upside down. So like,
So what you're saying is it's very very 90s then.
it's from an eBay listing. So it's like,
Oh,
it's just some. I have to.
so what I was saying though is like there also is an element where they explain that like his friend at least, and the implication is he as well used to go into the sewers underneath the school to try and find ways into the school or out of the school, and it's like okay, that stretches the belief muscle a bit too
But
far.
why? That's the question.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
where it really settles in as Nanar or
Right.
Weird Punk.
Weird
I
Punk.
should say. Weird
Yeah.
Punk is like
Okay, so here
wait
it
a minute.
goes. All the fun of Home Alone with a heart-stopping dose of die-hard action.
What do we say? What did we
Right?
say?
Right. Okay, Patrick Stewart stars as Ralph Bentley, a security expert turned bad with a revenge on his mind. Armed with high-tech firepower and a gang of commandos to back him up, Bentley takes over a prestigious private school holding students hostage for $1 million. There's just one problem, and his name is Ozzy. Get ready for extreme action because this schoolhouse rocks. Okay, what's on the other
Oh my
side of this?
god!
Uh,
This schoolhouse rocks.
all right.
Oh
Okay.
my
What is this going? What
god!
is this movie?
Who got paid $5 to write that
Okay,
masterpiece?
Vincent Karshtheiser. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name, brah. Is Ozzy, a teen hacker whose radical pranks always land him in trouble. When a brainy terrorist takes over the school, the rebel school skills for mayhem are put to the ultimate test. With a little help from tough as nails principal Maloney, Ozzy morphs from hacker into hero and proves that a criminal mastermind is a wonderful thing to waste. So Masterminds being this hacker kid and Patrick Stewart, obviously. But holy shit, that took too long to find. I'll make sure I do that beforehand.
So there are several moments in this movie where people clearly die, but they don't want to show them dead.
Oh my god.
So they'll have like the audio of groaning as if he's still alive somehow, or they'll show a later scene where they show him like alive somehow, but it's like these are things happening to these people that they would most definitely
The,
be dead.
a guy gets hundreds of pounds of coal dropped on him from a coal chute.
Thousands of pounds, I would
At
say.
least
There's just
hundreds. I
a
mean, it was a
lot of,
couple hundreds, but it was
yeah,
not a lot, but it was enough that like he was completely buried under very large chunks of coal. That man is dead.
yeah, suffocated, at least.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. And then there's a scene where somebody falls down like a shaft,
Ventilation shaft. Upside
ventilation
down, head
shaft,
first.
head first. And you can, I think there's this part of the scene where you can see his head hitting part of the bottom of the shaft. It's like, no, that man is dead. That man is dead.
Yeah.
But they show him later alive. Just because it's a kids movie, we can't show him alive. We can't show him dead.
I wonder if there's a hard cut of this somewhere. Like they cut both the safe and the not safe, and they decided to go with the PG-13 cut to sell more tapes, which may or may probably worked, but especially with that fucking tagline of like, you know, the whole Die Hard.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Die Hard, they have this several scenes of him in an air duct, like. It's like straight out of Die Hard.
For a while, there's beat for beat Die Hard in parts, and it's kind of fun. But it's a kid doing the John McClane part. So
Die Hard for kids.
Yeah, it really is. Basically, I would actually call this Die Hard for kids. This would be the Die Hard for kids.
Hold on, I remember the review on IMDb.
The thing that gets pirated in this is a video game called Scream 2, but people have incorrectly declared that they're pirating the movie Scream 2, but they just need to fucking pay attention. Because it's Scream...
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah, it's Scream 2 with 2 Roman numerals, not the...
The specific font that they use is the Diablo font.
Yep.
So I think the concept is they're pirating Diablo 2.
A horror version of Diablo 2, basically. Diablo 2 is kind of horror, to be fair.
I will say some of the music in this movie is actually very good. And
yeah. Oh my God! Wasn't there one band that sounded like Hanson? No, that was House Arrest. God damn it! Mixing up things again.
And that band, we'll talk about that later because it's interesting who that actually was. But what was the fucking review that I read in here? Oh shit! There was like an amazingly shitty review of
where was it?
On IMDb.
Okay, I don't
remember which one it was.
I'm on Letterboxd right now. Let's see. Oh no, reviews sort by lowest first. 1 star reviews.
Oh boy.
So we're looking at 1 star reviews for this movie. Okay, what?
Hold on, I found it. One of the things I liked about Masterminds, and parents will too, is that there is lots of shooting and explosions and all kinds of action, but the body count continuously remains at 0. Like someone said before, this is Die Hard for kids.
It really
It follows almost the exact plot line.
Yeah.
Overall, great movie, especially for kids 10 to 15. 4 out of 5.
That's actually not bad of a review, actually.
Yeah, I just like the way that it's written. Like they put a period after. One of the things I like about it is that there is lots of shooting and explosions and all kinds of action. Period. But the body count.
Yeah. So Masterminds. That's right. I would definitely sell it as a kid's Die Hard. Absolutely.
Yeah. All
right. Let's see here.
Black, I need. Soldiers is way more bleak and dark than Masterminds.
Yes. Black, I need to watch the 1997 off me. Let's see here. This person's 1 star review is very long and negative about every aspect of the movie.
So they were having fun then. Listen, it is fun to write negative reviews because there are more words in the English language, at least English language, to describe how terrible something is than there are to describe how good something is. It's a fact.
Well,
that's a fact.
I don't like using those words specifically because it's there's ways to talk about a movie's shortcomings without insulting the art. You know, that's what I'm saying.
generally speaking, as somebody who did used to write reviews, it was way more fun to write the negative reviews. I wasn't specifically looking to write negative reviews like a lot of people are nowadays, but whenever I got the chance to, I kind of relished it because it was fun.
A lot of people think this is
It made it
boring.
fun to watch
Interesting.
the bad movies. I don't know why they find it boring.
I
It's
was
very
laughing
entertaining.
and it was pretty, yeah.
Beat for beat. There's no like lull period that I can think of. I mean,
Was it Patrick Stewart's mustache real or was it fake?
I think it was fake. I mean, you look at it. Let's look at a fucking picture. Find a picture of it.
Not
I
great,
know
Bob.
I saw. Not great. No, you're a movie that was made by the same director as this,
Yes,
right?
everyone keeps using it in their fucking reviews to describe it.
Okay.
Home Alone that wasn't Long Live K-Dog.
K-Dog.
Oh god,
We'll all
K-Dog.
remember
What a
K-Dog.
fuck. This fucking movie is so not great, Bob.gif. Wow. We gave it 3 out of 5 stars. That's actually not that bad. What are you talking about?
All right, I got a picture for
I
you.
love seeing Picard chew the scenery. I had wanted to see this since it was released. Tween me would have had this on a
Oops,
constant
wrong one.
rotation. Did you just send
That's
me a
not an image
message?
at all. That's not the right image. That's not an image at all. Why are you not saving the fucking link?
Why are you sending me things about Pablo Lopez's fucking baseball stats?
Just
What
shut
have
up.
you been doing? You fucking weirdo.
I was showing somebody who I got a perfect game with.
I know. I remember reading the video game chat. It's just funny.
Okay.
Yes,
When I click
I have
copy,
to say that.
do you mind actually copying
Have
below?
if I hit, some websites won't let you. So you have to use the screen capture software. So if I had seen this when I was 15, I would have loved this movie.
There's Patrick Stewart and his damn mustache. Honestly, actually, it might be real, but I think it's fake. It looks pretty fake to me.
I'm about to zoom in on this image. 1 second. I think it's real. Fuck, it's real. It's just terrible. He should just not be allowed to grow it anymore.
Yeah. Like, all right, this was your chance to try out your mustache, and no.
Next,
no.
Since last show, we would have also watched The Arrival.
The Arrival. Watched a lot of '90s.
So that was the night. So Masterminds we watched right after Saturday Night Insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I then woke up, watched Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance with my coven, which is my friend Nessie and Angie and Chloe. Then I watched with the Crud Buddies. I watched 2 David Dakota, Vivica A. Fox movies from Lifetime. The first one was The Wrong Boy Next Door, in which a very obsessive boy immediately says hi to a girl and immediately falls in love, decides that he wants her forever, no one else can have her. You know.
Oh God.
Lifetime speed.
Can relate. Listen, that's happened to me. The last time it happened to me was when I was like 13 years old, but it's happened to me. Okay.
It's when you decide, when you just learn the difference between lust and love and just flirty like, and like you can instantly like someone, that's for sure. That's not love. And anyway, we're not here for that. So the movie was okay. I gave it a 3 out of 10 total. It's a Lifetime movie. It wasn't bad. But the very last words of the movie were, I guess that was the wrong boy next door. And me and all the boys laughed the fucking asses off. Like it was delivered at the end of the Wrong Wedding Planner, the same thing. Guess that was the wrong wedding planner. We're like, what the fuck? You don't have to actually say the title in the movie. Anyway. Next we watched The Arrival, which we're talking about 1996 The Arrival, starring Charlie Sheen as Zane Zelensky, a SETI worker who gets wrapped up in conspiracy because he hears aliens talking back and forth between each other from their planet to our planet.
It would be a guy named Zane. I mean, come on. I coined a phrase while watching this movie. The phrase trash Hitchcock. Because that's exactly what this movie is. It's It's exactly what it does. And to describe exactly what I'm talking about here, trash Hitchcock is when a movie isn't technically good, but beat for beat a lot of these same tropes and mechanisms by which Hitchcock would make movies. It's like clearly the way they shot the film and the way that what they were trying to do in terms of suspense with the film was inspired almost directly by Hitchcockian. I think it's fair to say. But is it a Hitchcock level good film?
Hold on.
No.
All right, here we go. Here is the plot. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You keep talking. I gotta find out. I gotta find the Arrival VHS.
Oh.
Specifically, I want VHS copy synopsis because sometimes they're fucking inane.
So yes, there are many to explain what I'm talking about here. There are many moments in the movie where they show the audience what's happening. They show the audience something that the character in the movie doesn't know. And so the audience is on the edge of their seat, or that's the idea, is that the audience will be on the edge of their seat, wondering, oh God, is this person going to die? Are they going to find out? Do they know what's happening? What's going to happen here? You know?
All right, got it.
And that's a plot device taken directly from Hitchcock. That is entirely Hitchcockian. So, yeah.
I'm not refuting your statement, by the way. You might get some comments. Feel free to give us your comments in the description below here on YouTube on what you think.
If you want to do that, then feel free. But I will respond to you with a link to a video of Alfred Hitchcock himself explaining how he makes movies, and you'll see that it's exactly.
I think you'll have to actually explain how this fits that though before you go to that. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So the back of this VHS says, radio astronomer Zane Zelinsky, Charlie Sheen, believes he's picked up a cosmic noise that signals extraterrestrial intelligence. But after turning over the tape to his boss, Phil Gordian, played by Ron Silver, Zane is fired. His girlfriend, Terry Polo, gets transferred, and his partner's found dead from a supposed suicide. Zane's desperate search for answers leads him to Mexico and a mysterious power plant, generating more than electricity and run by people who are not what they appear to be. Arrested for murder of a scientist, Lindsay Krause, investigating an impending ecological disaster, I cannot read the word. Zane, I guess. Okay, here we go. Zane escapes custody carrying proof of world-shattering alien invasion in this intense sci-fi thriller. Directed by David Twohy, who also did the Pitch Black, Riddick, and Chronicles of Riddick series. He did all those movies. He's also doing the new movie with that. I couldn't. So this has like a VHS collector blazoned over the side. It just clipped a bit too much into the text. So I would say about every third sentence I had to decipher the last word. But yeah.
So, I don't think I saw this movie when I was younger. I'm pretty sure we went into it assuming I hadn't seen it. And I can tell you right now that I definitely had seen at least a few scenes from it, like flipping through the channels at some point. I saw
it all the time back in the 90s. It did not do that
because
well.
I remember a few things from what I watched in the movie this time around, watching the whole damn thing. I was like, oh, I remember that scene. And I remember that scene, you know. Specifically, something about the aliens is what I remembered about the movie. Well, it's kind of hard to forget.
I think it's in the trailer, completely spoiled for you, I think.
Possibly. Maybe I just watched the trailer.
And that's probably why the movie probably undermines the film, honestly.
Probably. I think we see far too much of Charlie Sheen's skin in this movie. But
conservative, huh?
That's okay.
Hey,
all right.
This is peak Tiger Blood when he was like he actually was handsome and shit before he went downhill and was a little bit crazy. I mean, he was definitely still crazy back then, but my point is he looked presentable. Yeah, it was before. This is before he went downhill. And it went downhill very soon after this.
But I saw this motherfucker in 2 Major League movies. 2 Major League movies. And by the second
And
one,
hot shot
he
movies.
was looking pretty mealy. He was looking pretty not so hot.
Hot shots and hot shots part 2 also.
That was all makeup, though.
But like, yeah, I mean, that was his prime. Is when he was like peak Tiger Blood, like you said.
Yes.
And then he
So
he crashes out. I think he gets arrested, and there's the two men in a baby show or whatever the fuck that's called. Whatever that show's called, that went on for like 14 goddamn seasons because they
you're
couldn't
thinking of
fire him.
Three Men and a Baby, which was an '80s
No,
movie.
what's the show though?
Two and a Half Men is
Thank
the show.
you. That's basically the same thing. It's the same movie with one less dad. Okay. My boobs start growing. Oh. Anyway, this is a lot of fun. This movie's a lot of fun. There's a bit of nonsense with like Scorpion scene about how they're just on every fan blade. Like
Yes. See, this is actually this is the perfect scene to describe Trash Hitchcock, because what they do with this scene is absolutely the same kind of thing that Hitchcock would do. We know the fucking the scorpions are there. We know they are a threat and a danger to these people, but they don't know that.
all right, who's this
So
Logan Cruz
we get to
person?
see something that as the audience, that the person in the film doesn't know. But it is absolutely ridiculous, because who the fuck puts a scorpion on every single blade of a ceiling fan?
Except one because they decided to walk off probably as soon as they started rolling.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
and I'm sure
that's not a
David
walk
Twice like
off.
fuck, whatever. Yeah. He probably took too long to set it up, and he's like fuck.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is so stupid. This would never in a million years work. But regardless, like, even if it's a stupid idea and it didn't make any goddamn sense, it's still doing the same thing as what a Hitchcock thriller would have done. So like, that's why I'm saying, like, it's not implemented well, but it's still Hitchcockian. It's trash Hitchcock. It's trash Hitchcock.
There's only 3 5-star reviews on the site. 2 of them are by the same person, 4 years apart. Almost to the day, actually.
Wait, so they did 2
reviews
reviews for the same movie where they're like, this is the best movie ever?
4 years apart. So you ready? I'm gonna read these. This is by Logan Cruz on Letterboxd. We're not here to mock. I'm here.
2 different reviews?
Yes, I would like. I just want.
Wow.
I'm reading this because I want to hear someone's honest, positive review for this movie. I like this movie, and so I want to know who. Because I say every movie's someone's favorite, right?
I liked it too.
So I want to know if I can glean, because I haven't read this. I'm gonna read this with you. This could get real hairy.
Okay.
Let's do it. I want to see if this person can show me why this is their favorite movie. Not that I'm not, like I said, not here to mock. So this, as of now, is Charlie Sheen's last good movie, and it's from 20 years ago. But man, it's fantastic. Not wrong. Last good movie, because he goes downhill after this. I would think, really. Anyway, The Arrival is a criminally underrated sci-fi slow burner about a possible alien conspiracy on planet Earth. Met with lukewarm reviews upon release, I thought this was an intensely lurid and smart white knuckler. Needless to say, I was pleasantly blown out of the water by this movie. This person says in the profile that anything they wrote before 2020 is not good. So I understand this is like a person who's evolving his writing. All right. So yes, that did sound a little off. Yeah, anyway.
It actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad.
Better than I can do. Charlie Sheen perfectly captures the manic, paranoid nature of Zane Zeminski. That's true. He's very manic in this movie. And, like, you can tell, like, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, I don't think he showers once.
Yeah, there was...
He's in the same pair of clothes most of the movie.
There was a genuine feeling as if Charlie Sheen had actually been on drugs at the time. I'm sure he was.
Oh yeah. Perfectly captures the manic, paranoid nature of Zane Zeminski, a timid satellite worker who accidentally stumbles upon an otherworldly signal. His performance here rivals that of Platoon, and even Wall Street. He's that committed. He's really good in this movie, but I don't think he meets those. I don't think he's better than Platoon.
Yeah, that's a bit far.
In fact, all the acting is fiddly eerie here, The subtly disturbing performances pair perfectly with constantly thinking, genre-flipping screenplay from the same mind of The Fugitive. Yes, that's true. Dave Twohy's a known director. He did Fugitive movie specifically.
The Fugitive was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic at this
So he's a
point.
good writer for sure. Like, you know.
Yeah.
This film tries its hand at multiple. It does multiple genres and does so successfully. Not a moment went by that this movie dragged, felt underwritten, turned out too ludicrous, or any moment used genre cliches. The
Um,
last part, I agree with everything up until the not using cliches because it definitely used cliches, but it didn't lean
I
heavily into them. I
disagree.
agree.
I disagree with the concept that like there wasn't anything that goes a little too far in terms of believability. Absolutely, there's some shit in this movie that goes a little too
There's
far in
artistic
terms
license
of
with the
believability.
scorpions, for
Yeah,
sure. Like, who would release like 4,000 scorpions in a room and not see them? You know. But that
I
aside,
have no problem with that assessment though. It's just
no, it's not.
disagreement.
No, not wrong with assessment. I I agree with actually almost all. I don't think it's ever too ludicrous or any moment does it like drag. It's very it moves. It definitely
Never drags.
it has
Never
a
drags.
momentum from beginning to end and never lets up. It gives you small breathers where Zane himself breathes, but you're as paranoid as he is at any moment now this world can be upside down again.
Which is interesting because this was released alongside like Contact or like
It
you
was a
know
year after Contact. Year before
year after
Contact. Year
Contact.
before Contact. Excuse me.
Okay.
I watched this. I watched Contact, and this was the B movie of Contact.
And a lot of people would say that Contact was a kind of a slow movie that drags at times. And it kind of does.
I don't think
it's
is.
still a
But
really great movie. I fucking love it. There's
I
nothing
think they
wrong with it.
expected one thing, and they didn't realize there's
But
like some social political thriller going on
yeah,
around as a wrapper to all this. You know.
but I would say I think that Contact is maybe a little slow,
I would
especially in
say
comparison to this.
that's the trailer's fault. The trailer leaned heavily on the last 15 minutes of the movie.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it being that way. I'm just
No,
saying
but I think that it gives the wrong impression of the movie, and that's
yeah.
why it didn't do as well as I think it could have. It was presented as what it was. I think it would have been received better by critics and fans.
Yeah.
Maybe
If people were watching it more
the
like
same
they
amount of
watched
money, but
2001, then they would
yeah,
probably really appreciate it.
exactly. All right,
Yeah.
so if you think you know for a second where the rival's going, you're wrong. It's always 3 steps ahead. The camera work is masterful. The score is inches away. It inches its way under your skin every chance it can. The score is really good. Paired with some striking computer effects. Yeah, actually pretty good computer effects for the era. Dazzling set pieces. Yeah. There's a really great sequence at the end with the telescope observatory thing.
Yeah.
This pulls you in with every polished aspect. The Arrival is a tour de force movie and one of the best I've seen in recent memories. Not just science fiction. It's a smart. Yeah, no, that's a lot of things. I've written that before, and I'm like, and I want to go back and read me writing that. And go, okay, perfectly, a perfectly acted thrill ride. And you'll never forget. And deserves way more recognition than it does. I agree with that very last statement. For damn sure, it does need more recognition. Here's a much shorter review written 5 years later. Same
By
person.
the same guy. Okay.
Still 5 stars. The best movie about aliens ever made, and that will likely ever be made. This is this person's favorite movie. Don't laugh at that. That's.
I know. It's just.
I genuinely
like,
love that this person loves this movie.
He goes from explaining himself in intricate detail to, "This is the best movie ever."
There's more. That was just the first line. Sucks that the alien film with this title minus the gets all the attention when this one has at least 2 times the depth,
No.
100 times the bona fide interest, and 10,000 times the thrills, not to mention it's immeasurably more tightly plotted.
Sour grapes is what that review sounds like.
Yes.
Arrival comes out and they're like, and it's getting all this praise, and they're like, "This is bullshit. The Arrival was way better." Like,
I said
we
this
get
person.
it. We get it. You love The Arrival.
We're not here to mock this person. Stop.
It's fine.
Stop mocking this person. Like,
I'm not mocking. I'm saying
I love
it's
that
fine
this person.
that you like this movie.
I love that this person genuinely loves this movie so much. sweaty,
Yeah.
hyper paranoid, and at times genuinely scary, and not a moment of dead space. All true statements, actually. Plus, it's gorgeous. It actually is really well shot. We didn't mention that. There's a lot of really great like
Now,
vistas, actually.
I remember you saying though that a lot of the special effects didn't age well. I
At
actually felt like
first,
they did age
I
well.
said
I
at
felt like
first,
they were,
and then we went on, and I was like, oh, actually, you know what? This is actually not
yeah,
bad.
they
So no,
aged
I
way
take
better
back.
like than Twister, for example, which just
I
oh
love Twister, but
terrible.
that yeah, the CGI doesn't look so hot in that movie.
Yeah.
This looks
The
like
the
it looks like
CGI they did for the actual like
the
Twister itself was all right,
the
but everything
cow.
else is
The cow is so glaringly fake looking now.
yeah,
Back then, it
yeah,
seemed so real because we'd never seen it before, and now you've seen 10,000 better cows since then, and you're like, that cow
yeah.
does not look as good anymore. Yes, I agree with that statement. So here,
You know the cow.
here's the part that I thought was interesting. Works both as an homage to old school propaganda flicks of the 60s and 70s and as an idiosyncratic new entry into the genre with its own attributes to offer. It's true, it does have its own stuff to offer. It because it
Yeah,
brought in this whole climate change aspect. Uh,
yeah.
like honestly, there's like there and it is idiosyncratic in its presentation because it's like not many movies have been done from the conspiracy theorists. I think conspiracy theories in the year after this, in fact, specifically. I think it's 97.
97. Yeah,
Yeah.
97.
So like it is like one of the first movies to literally take the what if the conspiracy theory guys right type approach to this
Yeah.
genre. It had been done
Well,
previously for political stuff, but not for this specific
I
genre
think
for
that
this.
all really started with the show. Fuck, David Duchovny, X
X
Files.
Files?
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Correct. X Files for
X Files
sure.
was like the first thing out there that like was saying, "What if the conspiracy theories were true?"
Yeah, and what if
Or
the
well,
crazy
one
person
of the
wasn't
first.
actually crazy
Yeah,
and we just he was actually right. Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so here Sheen has never been better acting his ass off in his eerie mindbender of lovingly dorky sci-fi and anxiety-riddled conspiracy dramatics. I have to say this is actually one of Charlie Sheen's better roles. It really is. It's up there with both Platoon and Wall Street, but it's not better than either of those, like his previous statement. So I do agree it is one of his best performances. He does play this like genuinely freaked out, panicked character who's like can't because like he like goes to South America, shit gets crazier than he expects. He comes back and now he doesn't know who he can trust, and so everybody, and he finally trusts people. But like, is there someone who betrays him? Who knows? But like, this movie just never for a minute lets go. It
Oh
literally
yeah,
from
he's.
beginning to end. It's got
I would say he is unexpectedly reserved for Charlie Sheen.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anyway, this was this
Which is
person's
yeah,
favorite fucking alien movie, and I love that this person loves this movie so much.
absolutely. I didn't mean to sound like I was berating the guy at all. I'm just
Ha! Here's a
I
great
disagree
Here's a
with
great one
some
of
of
them
the
flippant reviews. The second X Files movie we wanted. Ouch. I like the second X Files movie. I do agree it maybe not what you wanted, but
I never actually watched the second X Files movie. I
I
wanted to watch all the X Files stuff before it, and I never got around to finishing all the X Files stuff.
so yeah, we're
Before
gonna probably do. I think we should try. Maybe we should do that. Like after we move out, like start doing X Files from one end to the other.
it.
Do a review.
Yeah,
Just do a little review at the beginning of the show about that. That way, it'll keep us going. Like we watched 2 episodes this week. Blah 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 blah. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. I adored this movie. What did I give this movie? I gave this movie 6 out of 10. I almost made a 7 out of 10. Honestly,
definite 6 out of 10.
it's like borderline 7 though. Like for me, like I feel like I I don't know. I don't know where
And it's funny.
I can see myself like
I'm
giving
sure.
this 7 stars.
I'm
That's
sure
it.
there are some people out still might be watching this and thinking 6 out of 10. That's a really low score.
That's
No,
not. That's pretty average.
6 out of 10 is a respectable score. It's
Yeah,
a
average.
anything over 5 out of 10 means it's good. It's watchable.
Yeah,
You know,
not the worst
six
thing
out
I've
of
seen.
ten is the. This is not only watchable; it's enjoyable.
6 out of
Level.
10 is like there's aspects I really liked and aspects I didn't like, and
Yeah,
that's what that means. And like
yeah.
it's an uneven film for you. And
Once you get into
everyone's
7 out
and
of
by
10,
the
it's like
way,
must-watch
and like
territory
I said,
for
this
me.
person that
So
we were talking about had a 5-star review out of 10, 10 out of 10, right? And so this is their favorite movie, and they're not wrong. They're allowed to love this movie that much. And that's why I
Absolutely.
have a firm belief that there's no such thing as a bad movie. It's just
How many bad
that piece of
movies
art's
do I
not for you.
love? I mean,
I think there's offensive art, and then there's good art, offensive art, and then art that is neither of those things, but it's still art, and it's not necessarily for you. So it's like
yeah.
plenty of movies that I'm just like not for me. Like I maybe didn't enjoy it to the point where like maybe 10 years ago I would have called it bad. 5 years I would have called it bad. Now I just say wasn't for me. That means if it's below 5 stars, if it's below 5 stars, it wasn't for me. Unless I liked something. Sometimes a few movies with less than 5 stars, and under my rating system, still I like them, but it's like like a small aspect of them. There's just an overwhelming negative aspect to it. Next, we watched House Arrest from 1996 also.
House Arrest, which is a movie that I still enjoyed, regardless of the fact that it's cheesy as hell. This perfect segue into this because we're just talking about even if a movie isn't necessarily good, you're still allowed to love any fucking movie you want to,
Hell
for any
yeah.
reason you want to. It's like I don't know why, but I still love this movie. I still think it holds up remarkably well. I like that there are a lot of actors in it that like most people would be familiar with. There's Wallace Shawn is in there.
Oh yes,
Jamie
yes.
Lee Curtis is in
This is
there.
character actor central. There's a million
Jennifer
character
Love
actors in this.
Hewitt is in there. Oh my god. Uh, what's her face? Shit from the Chucky movies. Bride of Chucky. She's in this, right?
Jennifer Tilly,
I
yeah,
can't
she's a
remember.
small part.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Tilly. Jennifer Tilly is in this. Yeah. Um,
Oh yeah,
a lot of great
yes. I was
things.
still thinking about The Arrival for some reason. Anyway, all right. Yes, House Arrest, which is a movie I didn't think I'd seen, and then we got like 10 minutes into it. Like I've seen this. This is on HBO all the
Yeah.
time. Shit. Okay. So
Yep. It was one of those uniquely '90s movies. It's
man,
about a
hot milk.
kid who his parents are getting divorced, and in order to try and keep them together, he decides it's a good idea to trap them in the basement, lock them in the basement, make sure they can't get out until they decide they don't want to get a divorce or until they work things out. And as he's telling his friend about what he did in school, another person overhears him, the school bully who's been treating him like shit this entire time. And he's like, oh, that's actually a good idea. And the school bully starts gathering up, gathers his parents up, and the parents of his friend also gets his parents down there as well. So you get all these parents that are being
And his
trapped in a
crush,
basement.
his crush shows up with her parents, her mom. He's a therapist.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So
Here's the
it's
box.
crazy.
Back to the box. I'm sorry. That is the DVD. Oh well, we'll just go with it. Instead of celebrating their wedding anniversary, Janet, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and Ned, played by Kevin Pollak, have informed their kids that they're separating. Determined to keep their folks together, the clever kids come up with a perfect plan. Lock mom and dad in the basement until they work out the problems. With a wacky parent who's jailed downstairs and the kids having a blast upstairs, it doesn't take long for both the inmates and their underage wardens to learn a thing or two about being under house arrest.
So
I love that bit.
I had completely forgotten that Jennifer Love Hewitt was even in this movie, and after I thought to myself, was that why I liked this movie? Because when I was a kid, I was very attracted to Jennifer Love Hewitt. So I was like, was this just something like boyhood fantasy thing? I don't fucking know. But what I do know is that the song that you said sounded like Hanson, "You Make Me Smile," was actually a Jennifer Love Hewitt song. She wrote that song. How about that? There are aspects of this movie that I definitely still enjoy. I think it holds up for the same reasons, though, that I would defend North, and nobody would be with me on that. So, I totally understand that.
It doesn't hold up. I don't like North at all.
I think both North and this still hold up because they're just really weird, this would never work or happen in a million years kinds of movies.
I do have to say that North and Big Fish live in the same universe, though.
That is true. Yeah,
That's what
that
it feels like, you know.
Big Fish did it better. I'll put it that way.
Big Fish did do it better, but no, but I'm saying they're different. They do different things.
Yeah.
They're trying to do different
Didn't
things.
Big,
I
didn't
respect
Big
North
Fish
for
get a
trying.
4K release?
Like, yes, I'm looking forward.
Okay.
I appreciate what North was trying to do. I just don't think it executed itself well. That's all.
Yeah.
It's trying to do this hyper reality, but like, I don't know.
Instead, it just ended up feeling like character actor central. Just all these character actors come together, which is honestly kind of what this movie is too.
Yeah.
But I think this one works, maybe not perfectly, but in the way that back in the 90s, it was a 99-cent rental and it was a fun little movie. I think I rented this movie like 3 or 4 times when I was a kid, you know, because it was one I could rely on enjoying. So, for instance, I know a lot of people might not remember this because it might be too young, but back in the day, Blockbuster, VHS rentals, wherever you want to rent them from, there were rental locations in fucking grocery stores, for fuck's sake, at that point.
Some grocery stores opened up their own stores inside for renting.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Good lord.
And
This one.
So
My store still does that
imagine,
for
though,
DVDs and Blu-rays.
imagine though, you've only got like you've got a certain budget you're allowed to work with. It's like your mom says you're allowed to rent 3 movies and only one of them can be like a new release or something like that.
Right.
New release, you don't know if it's going to be good or not. You've never seen it before. It's not going to be on television. You don't fucking know. So it's a chance. It's shot in the dark. What that means is you want the other 2 movies to be things that aren't necessarily shots in the dark, that you're comfortable with, that you've seen before, potentially. I would usually take more of a shot, though. I was the risk taker, and I would just make it so that most of the movies I was watching were brand new. I'd never seen them before, but I would always make sure that at least one of them was something I'd seen before and I knew I enjoyed, so that if every other one was a stinker, that I'd know I'd have that one.
You know, I did
House
the same
Arrest
thing.
House Arrest was one of the movies that was my standby. Like, I know this is good. I know I'll enjoy this. So,
Mine was
The Burbs was another one like that, by the way.
Godzilla 85, Transformers the movie, got G.I. Joe the movie. It was like my 3 big comfort watches.
Damn, that was a good choice.
It was back in like 92. There's a place called Video Wizard. Not to confuse with Wizard Video. Oh, Video Wizard was a small mom and pop place. And I was right around the corner from me, so I used to rent movies there all the time. Rentals were like only $1.50, so I could like earn my allowance, rent a movie. I did it all the time. You know.
Perfect.
I'd usually rent like 5 movies, but you know. And then later on, when I was with my wife, we went to Blockbuster because that was the only thing available at the time, and we rent 4 or 5 movies a week. You know.
So, thoughts about House Arrest? I'll ask you because you're the one who didn't even remember you'd seen it. So, what do you think about this?
Every character is horrifically damaged and unlikable.
That doesn't mean it's a bad movie, though.
Every kid, every adult, all of them need therapy, even the therapist.
Yes.
I
think there's a point in the movie where one of the characters actually makes fun of the concept of therapy, and it's just like, yeah, you need therapy more than most.
I don't know. I didn't really like it that much. It's a 6 out of 10. It's not a bad movie.
Was it because of the characters, or was it just the movie itself?
I don't know. It just seems like you're telling me no one can hear screaming through that now open door from the fucking sidewalk.
True.
Bitch, I can hear my fucking neighbors screaming from 2 walls through.
There's this old guy across the fucking road, perfectly placed there, who used to be the fucking chief of police. So he's just watching them the entire time, like, I know something's up over there.
Right?
Something strange going on.
And I thought they were going to do a Boy Who Cried Wolf thing with him, and then they didn't. And I feel like that was a wasted point? What's the point of this character then?
Well, no, they did at one point where like
Oh,
the
we're not.
cops
Oh,
came
whatever,
with.
whatever, Chief, and they don't show up. I mean,
Well, no, they did show up. Yeah, you're right. They
that's
did
what
at
I'm
least
saying.
show up.
A cab. Anyway,
Oh my goodness. Well, that's the thing. Another thing in the movie where they're like pulling their fucking guns on these kids. These kids are fucking surrendering. They're walking out of the house. They are children. Not only that, but like, I don't want to make this too political or too racist or anything, but they're white kids, so you wouldn't expect a cop to
oh no,
necessarily.
nah.
I'm just throwing that out there as like,
He's making me cringe so hard, dude. Stop
sadly,
that.
the way things are, they shouldn't be this
1996.
way, but they
Yeah.
are that way, especially in
Even
the
worse.
mid '90s. And I'm just saying, why are all these cops literally still pulling their guns on these kids? They're children. What the fuck? And they're surrendering too. What the fuck are you doing? Put your guns away, you assholes.
Yep.
But I think it's a highly enjoyable film with a lot of great actors in it who do a very good job with a role that is otherwise kind of lame. It is definitely a lame role. It's definitely one of the like the concept behind the movie. It's a family film. It's something that like
It wasn't like that. It wasn't a bad movie. 6 out of 10. I probably never watch it again.
I might watch it.
We might do a movie
just
gangbang
because
of it.
the nostalgia, though.
We might do a movie gangbang of it. It's totally movie gangbangable, which is our show where we do. It's a
The music in
have.
this movie, even sadly, even the Jennifer Love Hewitt song is very bad. All of them are very bad.
We're like, who the fuck is this? We couldn't even identify some of the people.
She thought it was Hanson. It was actually Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I'm not gonna out this
and then
person.
there was another band that sounded like Dave Matthews Band, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
it was some random band. Like,
all right, so there you go. I'm not gonna out this person, but the review is awful, borderline torture, zero redeeming characters. I actually sympathize the most with Shooter McGavin. That's the character you definitely shouldn't be sympathizing with.
That's true.
That's the one character you should be like, that guy.
He's the biggest asshole in the movie.
He's abusive to literally everyone around him. And gets to just go to no consequences in the entire movie.
But I can kind of understand where someone might be coming with that, because it's like he is the only character who's like, why are we just letting these kids trap us in a fucking this should never fucking real life. There should be no way this is actually fucking possible.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's like incredulous throughout the whole thing. Like, how is this even happening? So I can kind of understand on that level. But on the level that this guy's a total fucking asshole and threatens to sue the children, like, oh, fuck that guy. How do you relate to that guy on that level? I don't see how you could relate to him on that level.
Yeah, that was house arrest. Next, we watched Paranoiac.
Oh my god, that movie! I was very sad at the end because my disc fucked up. But
oh yeah, I literally had to train my camera at the TV and show him the last 5 minutes of the movie because the disc wouldn't play. Because of authoring error, we think.
For those who don't know, it's in this set. At some point, when funds allow and I have a decent job again, I will probably pick up. Didn't you say there's like a foreign release of this, like of just the Paranoiac movie? I'll probably just pick that up because I really, really enjoyed it.
And maybe by then they'll get like a standalone release from Screen Factory since it's part of the Hammer set.
This has some of the best cinematography of any horror film that I've seen from Hammer. Now, I know at this point Hammer's done a lot of fucking good movies.
We haven't seen nearly all of them yet.
Aren't bad, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, this is one of the best I've seen. And it's just really, really, really fucking good cinematography. Really inspired, honestly.
So Simon Ashby is a wealthy psychotic who is coddled by his aunt in their palatial mansion outside of London. One day, Ashby's long-lost brother mysteriously arrives at the house, but events prove that he is an imposter sent by Keith Cossett, son of the attorney for the family estate, who has been dipping into the family trust fund for years. And there you go. That's the whole premise of the movie. It's a proto-slasher, but the proto-slasher elements are like 3 minutes of film, to be honestly. There's a scene, or a few scenes, where someone wears a mask and is attacking people with a weapon, and it's a very slasher movie.
It's like they definitely, or well, I wouldn't say definitely, but slashers may have been in some way inspired by it. But
It probably inspired something
by
else that inspired,
scene,
but yeah.
Yeah.
It's got elements like that.
Without a doubt, the runaway scene stealer in this fucking movie is Oliver Reed, the Paranoiac himself.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And that's not hard to believe because Oliver Reed is was just a fucking fantastic actor in almost everything he ever did.
Mm-hmm.
And he just fucking does such an amazing job with this role. I don't know how else to say it, just other than saying you believe he is the character that he's portraying.
He is so good. Absolutely. He's so charismatic that he's like this cruel, capricious person, and you're still like, you're still kind of attractive. What the fuck? Like, son of a bitch.
This is how he does it.
Dangerous charisma.
How they do it, I should say. Yeah.
Dangerous charisma.
The cinematography, though, I can't shut up about it because there are some like really good scenes in this movie. There's a scene, I want to say towards the middle of the movie. I think it's actually somewhat towards the end of it. But two of the main characters are out having like a picnic by the cliffs, and perfect place to have a picnic, by the way. But they have the picnic basket open, and the woman is perfectly framed, and I do mean perfectly framed, by the picnic basket and then some blades of grass sticking up on the other side of her head, and it's just wonderful. And what you notice if you're paying attention is that there's this knife that's like on the inner side of the picnic basket, like there's like a strap to hold the knife where it is. There's a strap for all these utensils on the inside of this utility picnic basket, I guess. I don't know. But there's a knife, and it's pointing directly at her head.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't give anything away, but I think they definitely were trying to imply something with that.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a lot of Maizan scene like that.
Saying,
you know,
that's what I'm saying when I say that there's something to the way that it's shot, that they are specifically choosing the way that it's shot. They're specifically choosing what's going to be in the shot, what that means, what these specific items in the shot mean, and what they say,
On Twitter, I was mentioning it had impeccable Maizan scene. And Maizan scene is the things around the scene, basically, what it means. So it's like the props, the structure that they're in, the wallpaper on the wall, the clothes they're wearing, all that is like, it's black and white film, so all that's like impeccably chosen to make this feel like every shot is like important.
Everything tells a story.
Yeah. And the fucking knife on the basket, the dress she's wearing, the way, like, there's another scene where like the way he's like staring at her in the background, like there's like also just like little things, and it's in every frame of this movie. It's dripping with this stuff. And it might be one of Freddie Francis' best movies.
I would say, quite frankly, this is a movie that belongs in the Criterion Collection.
I would agree with that.
It belongs in the Criterion Collection. It's really fucking good. Mm-hmm. It's, I would say, I don't know how highly it's rated, but like, well, let's see, 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Highly underrated. Highly underrated.
I gave this a 9 out of 10. This movie was a 9 out of 10 for me.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 personally, but yeah, that's a very fair score.
Do you remember? Do you remember The Psychopath at all? We watched that. It was also Freddie Francis. We were watching it, I think, in January.
I do. It's a very good movie. Freddie Francis is a great director.
I blanked this. I'm probably gonna want to rewatch it. But...
Yeah, the show.
But yeah. I've been diving down the pro slasher rabbit hole. I've been watching a lot of proto slashers lately. That's what I do.
And they do a good job in this movie of keeping you guessing. You don't necessarily know exactly what's happening until they tell you. There's no. It's not very easy to pick out exactly what's going to happen next. You know, you can guess, but you don't know for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely influenced by noir with the lighting to some degree. Uh, I wouldn't say it's like an inspiration to Giallo, and I wouldn't say Giallo is inspired by it, but they are just probably from a similar vein of they're both derived from noir. So, like, there's a lot of like, I feel like if you were to assemble American Giallo, this like, there's a bunch of movies that are like Giallo esque that aren't actually from Italy that you could basically consider Giallo. And now this isn't it because there's like no black glove killer, but like this is like borderline a lot of themes. It's bordering a lot of the themes, I should say. So it's of interest if you're really into like those kind of movies. So as a side piece, not as like a part of the canon,
There
obviously.
should be a genre for that. There should be a genre for movies that a specific subgenre to name movies that like kind of inspired other film genres.
It's called proto slashers. Yeah, I agree. You're welcome. Yeah.
I guess what you're saying is it's proto uh, giallo then.
No, Giallo predates this movie by a few years.
Oh, okay.
But I feel like they're both derived from the same source. Is what I'm saying. So they're similar, but not the same because there's no black glove killer, and there's not a lot of, uh, uh, it's not a lot of like
Well,
shock
then there should
reveals
be
or
a
whatever
genre
twist.
for that then. That's not proto anything. It's just on the
It's
same level as.
called mystery film, mystery suspense.
Hmm. I
It's
guess
broad genre. I mean, if you want to make
that's
it
a
more,
cheap way of doing it. Make a
if
subgenre.
you
You
want to
can
make it more
do it.
subgenre, that's up to you. You get to define that shit. I don't think it exists right now.
Yeah.
All right, so Knives Out was the last movie we watched together.
Paranoiac actually inspired that for me, at least, because Paranoiac is a movie where you're trying to guess who the killer is, trying to guess what's going on, and they're in a big house, and I'm like, this is really reminding me of Knives Out in a lot of ways. So I wanted to watch Knives Out again, and I knew Skinslip hadn't seen Knives Out yet, so I was like, let's watch Knives Out.
And there's just so many elements of other mystery thrillers. Like there's the author who's solving the crime, which is Murray She Wrote, which is of course immediately referenced actually on a TV in the movie too. But the main character being like this author who's also like solving a mystery, just happens to be there for. In this case, he was led by a note, but
I don't think he was an author though.
wasn't he? I thought he was.
No.
Well, okay, it's the
He
person who's
was.
not a he's not a detective. The person who's not a detective solving mysteries is a TV mystery
Yeah.
trope
Yes.
and book mystery trope for a long time. The Hardy Boys,
Yeah. If
what's
you
her
look at
face? I can't remember the female version. Nancy Drew. Couldn't remember. Sorry.
if you actually look at most noirs, and I mean like 90% of noirs, I would say, most of them do not actually, even though they are detective stories, do not actually have officially literal detectives in them.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually like other people. A good example would be the third man. The third man, it's somebody who like knows somebody who goes to Venice, right? They go to Venice to try and
I haven't
find
seen it yet.
somebody. And they aren't a detective, but they end up playing the role of a detective and trying to find their friend there, trying to find somebody there, trying to find out what happened.
But
right?
yeah,
So that's very much what the noir, or what much of the noir was somebody who's not a detective, but who's playing at being a detective.
most of the detectives that you see are usually private detectives. So it deals with people who
That's,
so. To be fair, even the detectives that are in those movies are usually not like part of the law technically. You know, they just discover something and then now they're embroiled. Ta-da.
yes. This is why the Big Lebowski technically counts as neo noir.
Correct.
Because they got a private eye in that movie, guys. They got a private eye.
The fact that all the characters wear different colors is definitely an homage to the Clue movie, the film Clue, where everyone has those kind of roles, and like
Oh,
the
yes,
zany
yeah.
comedy, of course, is definitely inspired by Clue. I adored this movie, by the way.
Yes, it's a very good movie. I can't wait for the second and third movies. I'm so glad that Netflix got them. I think it was funny. There was a scene in the movie where they specifically name dropped Netflix, but it's the movie's available on Amazon Prime
In the U.S.,
in the U.S. So,
I have no idea where it's at elsewhere. To be fair,
yeah. So Netflix sticking it to them, like, no, no, no. They mentioned us in the movie.
I mean,
I also like that.
I explained the the actual like culprit crime part pretty quickly. It felt like. I mean, there's some twists and turns it doesn't reveal, but like it felt like I thought I was gonna find out what happened to him way later in the movie instead of like it's like introduced at the beginning of the second
Oh
act. You know what I mean? So I was a little
yeah.
thrown off when I was like, "Why are we seeing this? Is this a fake story?" No, this is actually what happened. Well, one of those parts, part of it happened at least.
Only it's not
We're not gonna reveal the whole
everything.
story. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
exactly.
yeah.
But they were revealing what happened from the point of view of one character who was very deeply connected to what happened,
Correct.
but not as deeply as they even understood.
Right.
So, yeah. Um, I think that's my favorite thing about this movie is that it keeps you guessing until the end, and that you really don't know who the killer is, so to speak, until I would say probably the last 30 minutes or so, and it's almost impossible to guess. I didn't guess it. Skinslip didn't guess it. I don't know anybody who's ever guessed who the actual killer was, like within the first
I had my suspicions,
hour.
but I couldn't tell you who it was. My suspicions
Yeah.
were right, but I couldn't guarantee it because I had no proof. I had no idea to figure it out. I didn't think about what actually happened. I don't think I could have figured that out from the movie because it's like it's interesting. But yeah,
It's a very, very well done mystery story with inspirations taken from throughout the genre, from
all over the
noir.
place. Yeah,
Yeah. So I really loved it.
Matlock. Sorry.
Matlock.
I don't remember what that was from. Oh, that was the thing Chris did, right? Sorry.
So yeah, Knives Out, very good movie. Very well shot. I think one of my favorite things about it is actually that like it was a Ryan Johnson movie that came out after The Last Jedi, and all these people who said they hated The Last Jedi and called him quote unquote Ruin Johnson, um, suddenly had to change their tune after they saw Knives Out because they're like, "Oh, I love this movie," and then they find out it's a movie. They're like, "Shit." I have to admit to liking a Ryan Johnson movie. Oh no!
I mean, like I really liked Looper and I really liked Brick. So, and I liked Last Jedi. I thought it was right. I need to see Brothers Bloom still. I think I gave it 8 stars. I mean, yeah, 8 stars for Last Jedi. I thought it was good enough. It's pretty good. It's like it was Jedi. It was a Star Wars movie, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I expected from the movie. But yeah, the only movie we both haven't seen yet is The Brothers Bloom.
Yeah,
That'll be his whole body of work outside of short films.
he's a great director. I hope he gets much, much, much more work in the future. I'm sure he will. I mean, I know that a lot of people in the industry understand that he's a good director, even if fucking some Star Wars fans don't like him.
Is he the better Joss Whedon?
Well, I hope he doesn't turn out to be as much of an asshole as Joss Whedon. Yeah.
So yeah. And then I watched Doctor Strange, my friend Sarah. Dracula vs. Frankenstein with my friend Kristen. I watched Event Horizon with my friend Chloe tonight before we went live. But I watched Nightmare Castle, and you need to get this Blu-ray. I have it here. 1 second. I have a prop. 1 second.
Allow me to show my prop.
There are 2 other movies I need to watch, which is why it's still on my shelf. But you need to get this release, if you can find it. Barbara Steele plays this woman who's married to this man, and she falls in love with someone else, and so her husband kills both her and her lover, and then the husband then goes and marries Barbara Steele's sister, also played by Barbara Steele, who is having nightmares of her sister, and it's a really interesting movie, and Barbara Steele plays 2 roles, and it's worth getting. Plus, I hear characters from Beyond Good is great. I haven't seen it in long enough that I can't confirm. And The Castle of Blood I haven't seen, so. But get Triple Bill with lots of special features for all 3 movies, actually.
Nice. I will definitely keep an eye out for that. I mean, you said Barbara Steele, and I was like, okay.
It's a really good gothic horror. It's directed by what's his face?
And there's lots of interest that I can tell, so yes, okay.
Nightmare Castle is directed by Mario Kaino, who's the father of someone. Yeah, I can't remember who, but I guess the director is the father of some notable director also. That when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that director. But yeah. There's also the other 2 movies also star Barbara Steele apparently.
Oh, nice. Art collection. That's Severin, right?
Yes, sir. You know you're getting quality. There's one scene where there's a really hellacious tear in the film, where it literally there's like a fucking cavern in the middle of this talking scene just shows up, but like the one major flaw, everything it just looks like a worn print. I mean, I think it's the only print that exists. So.
Bummer. But
A lot of these older movies, especially Italian films, their elements are a bit rough.
But you notice that we have a lot more to say about older movies than we do about newer movies. No offense to Knives Out, it's just like
first of all, Knives Out is so intricately plotted that I don't want to spoil anything, so I really can't talk more than say it's really, really good. It's not like these other movies where we can talk plot elements that aren't like we can talk about the fact that Zane Zelinsky went to fucking South America and met up with a scientist lady because that's not spoiling major parts of the plot. If I mention even like a character wrong, I could fucking spoil part of the plot, of Knives Out. So it's like this is one of those movies you can't really talk. It's hard to talk about without ruining it. And I don't want to go into spoilers with it.
True.
I want you to experience it. When's the last time?
One thing I liked about Knives Out was the characters in it are very much like real people that you would expect to meet in real life in modern times.
Unhinged, yes.
Unhinged. There's honestly, there's a lot of political drama that happens in the movie. But there is a little bit of political drama that happens in the movie that I think adds to the characters because it makes them feel more real. It makes them feel like they belong in this universe and that this universe is a modern universe, So, yeah, whether or not you agree with the obvious political message that's happening in those scenes.
Oh, right. Those scenes where they beat the red hats upside the head, yes.
It adds depth to the characters, and I love that. So
it makes you hate certain characters even more.
Yep, indeed. And I would say you definitely should be paying attention to as many things as you can because, if you do fail to pay attention to certain things, it definitely warrants a rewatch. I rewatched it for the first time with Skin Slip, and I noticed things I didn't notice the first time around. So definitely should be rewatched.
That's a sign of a pretty good movie, honestly. If it rewards you with rewatching it, like you find new things.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you find things that are subtle in the movie, and the 100th time you've watched it. But like,
Yeah.
that's what I like about film. That's why I love movies so much. But yeah, I think we're done a little early this week, unless you had something to talk about.
No, not really. I think actually we could probably do these as like hour and a half episodes, honestly.
Go as long as I say they go as long as they need to go.
Yeah, go as long as they need to go. Don't push it,
Try to go to a minimum of an hour, I think, is the rule. Minimum.
Absolutely.
Last time we did it 2.5 hours, so it's like,
Yeah.
All right, so thank you for joining us. If you would like to see this some more, hit that follow button and show up every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific. We'll try to be here to talk to you about movies. And so,
Hell yeah.
Go ahead
We'll
and
do our best.
visit Stoudman's also a streamer, so feel free to go to his channel and follow him. It's Stoudman.
I also have a website, cinnamone.com.
Yes, that's right.
Working on it, but
Guess that's not the command. Is this the command? Nope.
I hope that by the end of the year,
is this the command?
It won't be so awkward to mention cinnamone.com. I think it's just oh, never mind. I thought it was just Mo.
I guess one of those Stout or Stoutman is an actual command, but we're not multi-streaming currently. I don't know which one is which. And then yeah, I forgot to set up Cinnamon on my channel, so there you go. There's no shortcuts for you. Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, fuck you. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. We will love to talk to you about movies next week. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.